These are our tankless water heaters. What we do not have for our tankless water heaters is we do not have care and use manuals. Because that could answer some of our questions. These are our thermostats. So we have some questions. One, I'm going to go from the top to the bottom. I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. We do not have a safety pan underneath these water heaters. Well, they're not tanks. They don't need safety pans. Well, it depends on what the manufacturer says, and I don't have the manufacturer's installation instructions. But I do know a couple things. These pressure relief valves, okay, they're supposed to have an air gap in the same room as the water heaters. They don't have that. Now they just go to the outside wall. You're never going to have a problem with it, I get that. But technically they're supposed to have an air gap, and they don't. How would you correct the air gap? By putting a pan underneath it and taking the drain pipe down to the pan, and then taking the pan drain outside, and that would be an easy fix. Otherwise it'd be almost impossible. I don't know how you would put an air gap otherwise. So while they say they may not specify specifically that you need a pan, and I don't know that because I don't have the instructions, you don't have the air gap. Okay? Come along here. This is on my dear client. Okay, these screens need to be cleaned once a year if you want to get the full life benefit of the water heaters. That's going to be a recurring theme here. You can go on YouTube and look up how to do it. The worst that can happen if you mess up is you're going to get wet. But those screens will make the difference between this being a 15-year water heater and a 5-year water heater. These water heaters are Porsches or they're Lamborghinis. They require maintenance unlike a regular water heater. If you want to get the performance and you want to get the savings, that's what you got to do. Speaking of savings, now these water heaters come pre-adjusted from the factory, okay? So because the gas pressure coming to a house is relatively low, and they're kind of preset, you can just bolt them up like they've been bolted up, and they will run, and you don't know if you're running at optimum performance or not. All you know is you're getting hot water. The instructions that come with this, and I have them baked into the inspection report, says like the plumber's got a manometer, but you're supposed to put a manometer onto these gas ports. See, the tape has not been molested. You're supposed to put a manometer on those ports, adjust it, then put a port cap on it. And that's what the instructions say. I didn't say that. You know, I never heard of that before. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that's what the instructions say. The instructions say this is supposed to be adjusted. So these water heaters haven't been wholly installed yet. And I'm going to go one step farther. Longevity. See these ports? These are high efficiency condensing water heaters. And a byproduct of that is condensate. And the condensate that comes out of these things is acidic. And so these ports have been installed so that drain piping can be installed on them, the sides of them. I've got instructions, and I'll talk about drip loops. And they're supposed to have an air gap in the same room as the water heater. Where would that go? To the safety pan. And you also might want to think about a neutralizing filter, since this drains to the yard and it's your grass or whatever, or not. I think that the neutralizing filter is an option, but it is an option that is available that you can't use. You can't exercise your option because you don't have a drain line. So if you don't take these ports, if you don't port these things out to the safety pan with a loop, air gap, safety pan, if you don't take the condensate drain piping out, okay, then the condensate, the acidic condensate, comes down into the heat exchanger, and now you got a 5-year water heater. The whole thing's rusted out, corroded out. Put all this acid inside your heat exchanger. You don't want to do that.